All right, just thought I'd do a quick video on something that I've been working on. Had a previous build come back for some drivability tuning on a Holley HP system. One thing that the customer wanted was to have the AC looked at, and once I got the AC functioning, noticed that the IAC kick was not wired in, and also the fans were not coming on with the AC. This is a factory AC system. So wanted to come up with a way of quickly adding the IAC kick and also getting the fans to come on with the AC. The high side pressure was going over 300 psi. With your new V5 and up software and firmware, you'll have a button to click to turn the fan on always with the AC kick. This does not have that. This is V4, so I came up with a little workaround instead of rewiring it. So first thing we do is we went in here, system parameters, basic IO, and you can see we're using the standard fan control. So I'm going to turn that off, then go into my pin map, outputs, and I'm going to take this fan one and I'm going to drag it out of here. Okay, and that was a ground trigger to the fan relay, so we're going to remember that. Get out of here. We're going to go to our toolbox. We're going to set up a custom table. So we're going to add individual config, IO, open, base config, open. Okay, so now up here we've got this IO tab. We'll go ahead and open that, and we're going to look for outputs. We're going to name this fan custom. Enable, configure, switch input triggers. We're going to do one, and that's going to be our shoot, we didn't turn it on. So let's go back to basic IO, IAC kick, and depending on how good you've got your base map, it's going to depend on how much IAC percentage you need. This car, once the tune's pretty dialed in, so it really only needed about 5% IAC. Okay, back to our pin map, output, fan custom. Our fan output was on B10, ground. Okay, so we're ground, B10, same way we were before. Inputs, I wired this AC kick to A12. Just gonna drag that to A12. And now I did that as a hot. In some of the firmwares, I think some of the later ones, it's set as a ground. And I'm seeing a lot of where people are advising, you know, to wire in a relay to reverse that from a hot to a ground. I tapped in at the compressor after the pressure safety switch, so anytime the compressor is actually loaded, it sends 12 volts out. And the way you change that from hot to ground is you can go over to system parameters and then inputs and outputs. AC kick, input type, 12 volt or ground. You can pick whichever one you want. You do not need to wire in a relay to change that. Now in our custom output, configure switch input trigger is going to be our AC kick, and when it is enabled, it will turn the fans on. And here you can select and, or. We're going to do or. If you select and, for the fan to come on, everything up here needs to be achieved and everything down here needs to be achieved. So we're going to do one or the other. And down here, sensor inputs, we're going to do 2. Single or all, we're going to do all, because I want both of these to be achieved. And you'll see what they are in a minute. We're going to do coolant temp sensor, CTS. Oop. Do above, let's say 175. Secondary deactivate, 165. And the reason I put a second one down here is because I'm going to do RPM. One thing I've noticed when some people set up their tunes, they don't do this and they use the standard one, and then anytime you have the key on, engine off, and the coolant temperature is above your threshold, your fan would be running just key on, engine off, and that's kind of annoying. So RPM above, let's say whatever your minimum idle is, so we'll do 500. This thing's never going to see that, but we don't need to do a secondary deactivate because, you know, we don't care if it goes below that. It's never going to go below that running. So yeah, there you go. So switched input trigger. We wire that IAC kick so that it just gives it a little nudge, a little extra airflow to compensate for that load coming on with the AC compressor. And again, the better your tune is dialed in, the better your car idles, better your base VE table is dialed in, you know, the less you'll have to add. I've had some cars where it's as high as 20%. This is a big cubic inch big block. It does not need much. It only needed 5 to maintain a steady idle. So AC kick is on. We're going to turn the fan on, or above 500 RPMs and 175 coolant temp. So yeah, I just saw a lot of different runarounds on this. Like I said, the later software is going to have a tab under, or a button under here under basic IO, fan 1, fan 2. You'll have another little box you can check that says fans on always with AC. You could click that. I don't like my fans switching on and off a whole bunch. It tends to wear out relays. Even the big amp relays will wear out over time the more you switch them. So the newer builds, we're doing PWM fans, and that's a much simpler way to go. But we didn't want to go through the hassle of doing the firmware update, which can be problematic sometimes, and we didn't want to add extra relays and wiring to this car. It's an already done basically show car wiring job, and I'm trying to be minimally invasive. So this was what I came up with, and it works good. So hopefully this helps somebody out, and good luck. Thanks.